Good evening, and welcome to our Monday, August 22nd Board of Education meeting. We will begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Lavelle, can we please have a roll call?
Yes. Mrs. Costelli?
Here.
Mr. Doring?
Here.
Mrs. Passaretti? Mrs. Raccio?
Here.
Ms. Regan?
Here.
Mr. Reynolds? Here. Mrs. Roscoe? Mr. Ross?
Here.
Mr. Votto?
Here.
7 members present and voting.
Thank you very much. Due to our summer schedule, we will not have Student Board representatives tonight. And also, due to our summer schedule, we will not have any presentations or awards this evening. I do not see anybody here from the public for public comment. So our next item is executive session. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
That's Mrs. Regan and Mr. Doring for a first and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions, motion carries. We are now in executive session. Thank you. Again, and welcome back to the Board of Education meeting. We are now moving on to our consent agenda, and I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items number 7.1 to 7.6 and 7.8 to 7.15. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ross, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We have item number 7.7, approval of proposed adoption and revision of policy 4112.8, 4218.8 nepotism for our staff. And that has been removed from consent agenda. Mr. Votto.
I would just like an opportunity to vote again on that because I have a negative vote.
Okay. Mrs. Lavelle, can you do a roll call for item number 7.7?
Mrs. Costelli? Yes. Mr. Doring?
Yes.
Ms. Regan?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Votto?
No.
Mrs. Raccio?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 9, correspondence. We have no correspondence this evening. Moving to committee reports. This is our summer, so we do not have, I believe, any of these committees to report out unless I'm mistaken. I'm not. So we will move on to old business, and we have none. Item number 12, we're moving along tonight. Instructional committee, and Mr. Votto and Mr. Reynolds will be handling that. Thank you very much.
I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education accept the resignation of Lindsay Horvath, effective June 30th, 2022. Lindsay Horvath was hired in May 2022 as a social worker. Her position was to end June 2023.
I'd like to second the motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No? Opposed? Motion carries. Second motion, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education accept the resignation of Jennifer Stakowicz, effective June 30th, 2022. Jennifer has been a special education preschool teacher since August 2014.
Second the motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. I make a motion that the Board of Education accept the resignation of Linda Williams, effective June 30th, 2022. Linda Williams has been a special education teacher since August 2021.
Second the motion.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. I make a motion that the Board of Education accept the resignation of Heather Urha, effective June 30th, 2022. Heather has been a TESOL teacher since August 2015.
Second the motion.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry, you have more, Mr. Votto. Mr.
Okay,
Reynolds.
my next motion is to approve the draft agreement on the preschool coordinator position.
Second the motion.
Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. My next motion is the approval of the draft agreement for the interim principal of Pond Hill Elementary School.
Second the motion.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstention? Opposed, rather. And abstention. Motion carries.
And there will be no action on items 12.4 and 12.5 this evening. Moving on to item 13, the Operations Committee. And I will turn that over to Mrs. Regan and Mrs. Costelli. Thank you.
Good evening. Mr. Barone, I believe you have, we are looking to increase the tuition, correct? All right. Does anyone have any questions about it? Did you want to do any commentary on that or explain anything about it?
This would just be for out-of-state,
Right.
I'm sorry, not out-of-state,
Out of town.
out-of-district students that were going to attend the Wallingford schools, and we adjusted it based on our current budget, or actually, we adjusted based on the budget and the expenditures every
Right.
year.
All right. Does anyone have any questions about this? No? Do we need to do this as a formal motion? All right. Then I will make the motion to approve the tuition rates for the year 2022 to 2023 for out-of-district students.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nope. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to new business. I do not have any new business this evening, so we will move to item 15, our administrative report. And I know central office has been very busy, even though we have had some time off. So I'll turn it over to Superintendent Belizzi for her update.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. We have had a very busy summer, and so last week we welcomed back our administrators. Some of them had vacation time, but we had our admin retreat last Thursday and Friday, which was a wonderful 2 days. We had an opportunity to get back together, do some team building activities, and continue to plan for the start of the school year with our administrative staff. So some of the topics we focused on for this coming school year was just reviewing some of the protocols that we'll have moving forward for COVID, which seem to be changing a little bit, but nothing major. I know we're going to be opening up schools sort of where we left off in June. So we went over some of those structures, the new CDC guidelines that have changed, and anything that the state may issue, we'll keep everyone in the loop and we'll send parent communication out from there. We did review our new website because it's in the process of continuing to be looked at and redone, and so Mrs. Veyu had spent some time talking with our administrators regarding what the website is going to look like and things we need from them to keep that going. We talked about our new parent communication system that we have, which is Parent Square, which we're very excited about. And we also talked about Iready. So we had someone come from Iready to meet with us on Friday to go over a lot of what that will look like in grades 3 through 8 for reading and in grades K through 8 for math. So we will continue with the STAR assessment at the K2 level, am I correct? Moving forward. So it was an excellent 2 days, and so we're excited for the start of that year. We're continuing to plan at central office for the start of the school year, planning for new teacher orientation, which Dr. Thompson is leading for us next Thursday, or this Thursday and Friday. We're welcoming our new staff members back, so we'll get them acclimated to the district. and get them up to speed. And then we will welcome our teachers back on Monday, the 29th of August, for 3 days of professional development before school starts on September 1st for all of our K through 12 students. And then our preschool students will come on Tuesday, September 7th. So we have been actively planning for our professional development and making sure that we have everything in order on our side so we can provide it to our staff and students when they come back into the building. One of the things I wanted to also update everyone on is last week we had an opportunity to get an update from David Stein and Michelle Miller from Silver Petrocelli. So there was a group of us at central office, and Mr. Votto was with us as well, that got to hear some of the update and the progress as to where they are. So they did share with us to date the utilization portion of the study is complete. They did it on all of our buildings. So they went through and shared the floor plans that they created, the utilization of the space for each and every building. We also identified next steps. So we're still working on the projected enrollment, and we'll get more of that back from them. And we are going to be meeting with our high school staff, our curriculum staff, and our central office staff to talk about programming for the high schools. So while we have now what the utilization of the space will look like, what about now the programming, and how will that fit into what the layout of the buildings look like? So more to come. It was a nice up-to-date start meeting, so at least it had some information and where we're going next. So we have some ideas for next steps, and we'll keep you updated on that progress.
Can I just say, I'm so glad that you guys went with Parent Square, because they use that in my son's school, and I will have to say, the communication is so much easier. It's just so streamlined and so much easier for parents to effectively communicate with the school, whether it's an attendance or anything. I know that I just go right in there, I fill out all my forms, they send them to me, I fill them out, I send it back. I don't have to go searching through email, and it's just so, if no one has had the chance to take a look at this, I have it on my phone actually, it is really a great communication tool, and I really do think that the parents are going to appreciate it so much more. It does streamline the process so much. So kudos, thank you for doing that.
Welcome.
That's awesome.
And we had heard that. I know Mrs. Latour uses it for her own students, for her own kids, children. God, I can't talk tonight. So, and we did hear wonderful things, and that's why we wanted to really look into it, to be able to streamline and make information more accessible for our parents. Absolutely. So I'm glad to hear that. So thank you very much. That's great to hear. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Latour, who's going to share some updates from her department.
So as Mrs. Belizzi shared earlier, the curriculum office has been quite busy in the month of August. We are finalizing our plans for the first 3 days back with our staff, which includes a lot of PD, and you will receive that location plan in your weekly update so you can see some of the things that have been planned preschool through grade 12. Additionally, we're working on our assessment plan, and each department provides the staff within an up-to-date listing of curricular changes, assessment changes, introduces new instructional resources, so they've been quite busy in their few days back last week before the admin retreat. Additionally, we are looking at 2 pieces of software that are new to the district this year. One, Mrs. Belizzi mentioned already, which is Iready, which will replace the universal screener for grades 3 through 8 in reading and math. And we did decide to keep STAR literacy and early literacy with our K2 students, as the state, I think I did mention it to you last month, is changing some of their approved universal screeners. So we didn't want to have to change 2 years in a row for our K2 people. We also looked at Apex Learning. It is a state-approved virtual learning opportunity for credit recovery for our middle school and high school students. The state of Connecticut purchased it free for all districts for the next 2 school years, and it looks to be a real viable option for us to help students fill in gaps throughout the course of the school year, aligned to Connecticut state standards, aligned. We have the ability as a district to repace the courses, put in our own assessments. So it looks to be very interesting with a lot of opportunity for middle school and high school, which will hopefully help students as they experience difficulty or have gaps in their learning throughout the course of the school year, which keeps them on par with their classroom peers instead of potentially having to go to summer school next summer, which is great. We're really looking forward to seeing what that has to offer us as well. And then currently we're working on the state assessment data presentation for the board, which will be provided at the September instructional meeting. At this time, the state has embargoed our SBA results, our NGSS results. They should be released publicly sometime next week, and you will have them the first week of September, which is a lot earlier than we normally do it, but hopefully we'll be able to start off the year with that snapshot of our spring data. And then that'll tie very nicely into the subsequent month when we do our school improvement plans for the board. So just a little idea of what to look forward to in September and October. We will continue to work hard to make sure that everything is prepared for next week as our staff comes back, and we're looking forward to have our buildings full again and having learning continue.
Good evening. So to reiterate what my colleagues have said, it's been an extremely busy month for the special education department. We have had 15 staff members who have attended expert training for the new IEP system. Those staff members will serve as building support systems throughout the school year. We've also had some staff members take some time out of their busy schedules this summer to participate in Orton Gillingham training, as well as ADOS, which is an autism evaluation training. So our staff is really dedicated, and we're really excited to see some of the things that they volunteered to do over the summer to support our students. We are, my colleagues and I, coordinators and I, have attended some statewide directors' support sessions. We're going to call them emotional support sessions for the new IEP system. So that's been really good for us to problem solve and try to get ready for it. We have created some step-by-step guidance documents for our staff, so they will have in hand before tomorrow afternoon, actually, really everything they need to know about the new IEP, the new 504, and how to navigate that system. We are also preparing for August 30th, which will be the Day of Enlightenment for everybody, so we're really excited about that. We've got some really good stuff going on. For parents, so a new part of our new IEP in 504 is a parent portal, so the parents will have real-time access to their child's documents, so they no longer need to call the school and ask for a copy of the IEP or 504. They'll be able to go in the system. We are going to have our first special ed PTAC meeting on September 27th at 6 o'clock. At this time, we will be providing an in-depth training of the new IEP as well as the new system. We are also sending out some communication later this week to parents on how to access the new system and what that's going to look like. We're not going to open it up to parents until we can train them how to use it, because we don't want to frustrate anybody. We are looking at having both an English and a Spanish training, so more information about the Spanish training will be coming forward. So that's kind of where we are right now.
I just have a question, Mrs. Papalizzi. Can you give us an update on how the new bus company is doing?
So things are going as planned so far. So with the bus company, I met with our transportation department on Friday, and so far, so good. They are planning the routes, we are collaborating, and we should be ready for school to start and have our buses and bus drivers ready to go for the start of school.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Votto.
Yeah, I have Mrs. Latour, a couple of questions. I missed, what scores are we going to be getting in?
So September, you'll get the state standardized assessment data. So you'll have the SPA scores, you'll have NGSS, you'll get the Lost Links scores,
What about
and SAT.
SAT too?
Yep.
Oh, that was my next one. Are you also going to send us, you said, a list of the PDs that are coming up?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll put that in your weekly update for Friday because it'll be certainly finalized by that point since it's happening on Tuesday of next week. Tuesday is really the full day of PD where you're split up by departments. Monday, the staff will be in their own buildings with their administration, and while PD will be going on, there's also a faculty meeting, there's time in the classroom, et cetera. And then Wednesday, we have our parents coming back to our buildings for meet and greet in the morning, so the district is wide open. Parents can come, find their classrooms with their students, meet the teachers, walk around the buildings, et cetera. We have convocation, and then there's additional time for our staff to really take the opportunity to look at the day. The afternoon is focused on curriculum and instruction, but there's a menu of opportunities so staff can select what's right for them in terms of looking at units of study, sorting through the new content resources or digital resources that we've provided for them this school year. And it just gives them a chance to really be well set for for Thursday rather, when the students walk through the door for the first time.
Right, so the full day of PD is really Tuesday, is that correct?
Correct.
All right.
8 to 3.
And if a board member wanted to attend any of them, what do we do?
So just reach out to me and I'll tell you, just to confirm, make sure that times, rooms, locations are all squared away. I'd like to give the presenter a heads up as well. And yeah, you're more than welcome to.
Okay. And convocation is when?
So convocation this year, we had decided not to do it in person. We're going to do it virtual. We're going to create a video montage, so to speak, and send that out to staff, and then give them time to collaborate with staff members, kind of give a brainstorm list of ideas of things they can do with that time in addition.
Okay.
Any other board members? Okay, thank you very much. Summer is definitely not a period of downtime for central office. I know it is one of your busiest times with enrollments and class assignments and administrative work that needs to be done, so we thank you. Moving on to the next item on our agenda, our announcements. We do have some. We will have a special Board of Education meeting on Monday, August 29th at 6 p.m. in person at the Board of Education Conference Room. Our next instructional committee meeting will be Tuesday, September 6th via Google Meet at 6 p.m. And our next operations committee meeting will be Monday, September 12th via Google Meet at 6 p.m. The next date of our monthly scheduled Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, September 20th, here in Robert F. Parisi Town Council Chambers at 6:30. And with no other official business to come before the board, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.